for discussion. The extent permitted by law. So could I have a call to order?
Pete Karen here.
One Cabbage here.
All right, and Mark Pacheco present. So let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We are going to go into executive session. Would anyone care to make that motion?
I'll make that motion to go into executive session.
Second the motion.
I believe we need to list the all the reasons.
Yep. Go into executive session for under Massachusetts GLC 30A section 21A2 to conduct strategy sessions in preparation for negotiations with non-union personnel or to conduct collective bargaining sessions or contract negotiations with non-union personnel. This is for non-union contract negotiations with the building commissioner. Under Mass General Law, Chapter 38, Sections 21A3, to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining or litigation if an open meeting may have a detrimental effect of the bargaining or litigation position of the public body and the chair so declares. This is the Dayton Town Clerical Library and Council on Aging MOU. Under Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 30A, Sections 21A6, to discuss the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real estate if the chair declares that an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the negotiating position of the public body, the tax title payment agreement. Under Mass General Law, Chapter 38, Sections 21A7, to comply with or act under the authority of any general or special law or federal grant and aid requirements. And then there's going to be the approval of the Board of Selectmen's executive session meeting minutes for April 8th, 2026.
All right, very good. We have a motion. Is there a second?
I will second.
All right, and on the roll call?
Peter Karen, aye.
One Cabbage, aye.
And Mark Pacheco, aye. All right, we're in executive session.
Yeah, we're trying to find.
All righty, so we are returning from executive session. It's 6:03, and we're gonna get right into our public hearing. So we have a public hearing for Mass Electric Company doing business as National Grid Verizon New England, petition for poll hearing, and I will entertain a motion to open the public hearing.
I'll make that motion.
All right, we have a motion. Is there a second?
I will second.
All righty, motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All righty, is anyone here for the poll hearing?
Yes, this is Aaron from National Grid.
Awesome. All right, the floor is yours.
All right, good evening. My name's Aaron Roy, representing National Grid, 1250 Brayton Point Road in Somerset. Tonight, National Grid's requesting a new mid-span pole between existing pole 54 and 55 Main Street. This pole will allow us to put some feeder, what we call feeder monitors on them. They do everything from tell us the current voltage, any faults, so on and so forth. And we're asking for this location because it's very close to the very beginning of the substation. That gives us the most details and the best spot for this device. So.
Any questions or comments from the board?
No, I heard everything last month that I needed to hear.
Awesome. And all the abutters were properly notified?
Yes.
To my knowledge, yes, they were.
Okay.
And we also have in the file a note from Highway Superintendent Tom Ferry. He visited the location, it fits the area, and there should be no visible issues.
All right. Any correspondence on this? Any letters or anything from anyone here in the audience for the poll hearing? Anyone on Zoom? Okay. Any motions for to move this forward?
Through the chair,
Close.
happy to close the meeting.
All right. I'll entertain a motion to close the public
I
hearing.
make that motion.
All right. We have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, any motions on this?
I make motion to approve.
All right, we have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
I'll second the motion.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, next we have a public hearing for a Class 2 motor vehicle license. Stephen Remy of Remy's Auto Sales, doing business as Remy's Auto LLC, 2387 Winthrop Street. Do we have a motion to open the public hearing?
I make that motion.
Okay, we have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Through the
Motion
chair, we
carries.
received correspondence from Mr. Remy's attorney, requesting a continuance to the June 10th, Board of Selectmen.
Okay.
Why?
Just have to square some stuff away.
Is there anyone here for that public hearing?
Through the chair, because the applicant isn't here, we cannot take any public testimony through this here.
Okay. All right,
All right, make that motion to continue.
all right. We have a motion to continue. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. June 10th, we'll see you then. Yep, the applicant isn't here, unfortunately, so. All right. The 6:15 public hearing, do we have to wait for that?
Yeah, we have to wait until 6:50.
All right, I'll entertain a motion to take Mark Nick out of order.
Oh, hi, Mark. I'll make that motion.
All right, we have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, Mark, we'd love to have you up here.
Thanks. I bet you thought you were done with me for the budget.
We'd
All
love
right.
having you.
I'm happy to be back. So, well, I believe the town administrator submitted the memo in there. I think that captures pretty much everything. I had a retirement and through attrition, over the grant funded part-time position. It's a non-union position. The grant funds are there. The trustees approved the job description. I met with HR and the town administrator to approve the job description as well. I understand the process for hiring. I just want to make sure all my Ts are crossed, all my Is are dotted before I move forward with posting the position.
Awesome. Any discussion on that?
No.
Any questions? What's the anticipated start date?
I would like to start, let's see, we'll post a couple weeks. I'd like to start before July 1st.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. So it's after town meeting, so.
Yes,
We
yes.
already know the budget will.
Yes, I'd like to start, yeah, right.
And do you have to get any confirmation from the grant that this is approved or allowed?
No, it's unrestricted. It's to be used for whatever library trustees and library director discretion. It's part of what comes with being a Massachusetts certified library. It's the easiest grant you'll ever apply. Usually when you apply for a grant, you apply and say, oh man, I hope I get it. With this grant, as long as you're certified, it's not, I hope we get it. It's how much will we get? And so there's enough to cover the funds for this particular position. I know it's risky covering a position with grant funds, but like I said, with certification, I'm confident there's no doubt in mind there'll be enough coming in to cover the position to keep it going, which is why I felt comfortable enough putting it in the grant funded position.
Perfect. The only thing that I noticed, I guess more question for you, Ralph, is I didn't see, it's, I think 18 hours a week or 19, and I didn't see it say non-benefit after that, and I think in some other part-time job descriptions I've seen where it kind of clarifies that it's not eligible for benefits, so I didn't know what your thought is on just adding that non-benefited after the hours,
It is 19 hours.
19 hours.
Can I add one thing? The reason we decided 19 hours was specifically to make it a non-benefited position.
Right.
So that was, the 19 hours was decided for that specific reason, and
Awesome.
Yeah.
That way the applicants know and they have a fair notice when they're deciding if they want to apply. Is that?
Yeah, we could, I mean, the job description falls under the purview of the Board of Libraries trustees, so this evening, we could easily make that amendment in the job description and then we can put on the posting, so we're seeking, the library director is seeking sort of approval for the posting. And then, we had discussion and we, the request is to do an internal posting first, to see what happens there.
For a period of time, we were in a hiring freeze. Has that been lifted? Is that hiring freeze
Well,
in effect?
as a, through, I think this was part of the directors of budget presentation. Because our position is going unfunded.
Right.
So,
Mhm.
so, if, I know if we were to have a hiring freeze, we would look at positions that are already existing, not hiring for new positions. But this is, the existing position is unfunded. This is part of, part of a grant and part of the director's budget.
Fully grant funded, not coming out of the municipal appropriation.
Awesome.
Yeah, and again, to keep the certification, so he can continue to get those grants.
Nice. Any discussion? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Quick question. Can I assume would hopefully like renew this with additional grant money in the next year?
Oh, yeah, absolutely, yep. And again, the 19,000 was budgeted specifically for the benefits, but it also carries the additional benefit of coming in under what the grant has conveyed the last couple of years. So I'm not spending more than what I'm taking in. Yeah, that way the grant fund remains solid. So, yeah.
I'll make the motion to approve.
All right, we have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Thank you. Thanks for your creativity as usual.
Thank you, yeah, thanks very much.
We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so we got 2 more minutes before we can have our next public hearing. Announcements? Okay, I will entertain a motion to take announcements out of order.
I'll make that motion.
All right, we have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Announcements. Dayton Historical Society invites you to their annual plant sale on Saturday, May 16, 2026, from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Dayton Historical Society, 1217 William Street, Dayton, rain or shine. Next announcement, the Dayton Lions Club Food Bank will be held on Saturday, May 16, 2026, located at the Town Hall, 979 Somerset Avenue, lower level.
Good job.
Through the chair, I have one more announcement there. We had a late, sort of a late announcement in, and this is also a point of pride for the town of Dayton, the 2026 Memorial Day ceremony. It will be held Monday, May 25th, 2026 at 10 a.m. The Dayton Memorial Day ceremony will take place at Veterans Memorial Park, right here at 1111 Somerset Avenue. Please join us to honor the men and women who served our country. For more information, please contact the Veterans Department. Ceremony will be held rain or shine.
Awesome. We hope to see you there. All righty.
Time of the.
Okay, so next we have a public hearing
10 o'clock.
10 o'clock, 10 a.m.
for a new on-premise all alcohol license for Paul Boris, Upcycle Edibles LLC, doing business as Alice's Last Stop. Could I have a motion to open the public hearing?
Motion open.
Is there a second?
I second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Is anyone here to discuss that? All right, you have the floor. No problem.
I'm Paul Boris.
That's it.
Take it over with Brian. You may have some questions for me.
You want to give us kind of an overview on what you're looking to do and
Sure.
accomplish?
Sure. So, in the outset, the goal is really to preserve the legacy of what Alice has been since Ryan's had it and before. But with the investment over time, if you have the opportunity to maybe change the seating around and maybe put 10 or 15 seats of the bar area space in as well, and expand the hours a little bit, maybe on Thursday, Friday, Saturday nights to offer a dinner seating. This is the long-term goal.
Any questions from the
No.
questions?
You want to try to keep much of the same menu? It's like,
Yeah, I think in the very beginning, the intention would be really not to rock the boat. I mean, it's a busy restaurant. I don't really want to change it. And over time, really get to know the clientele and see what people are looking for, evolve. And I think probably the first place we would do that is expanding some of the service hours a little bit later on.
So this is a new license, and it's allows you to serve any type of alcohol, correct?
Yep.
And you'll also have expanded hours, you kind of just said as well, so.
Yep.
Okay, well, Alice's has been such a fixture of Dayton, and I think it's great that you're interested in making this work, and I have no issues with it. Is there anyone from the public here to speak on this? All right, if you want to come on up,
Sure.
you can have a seat if we have any other questions.
I just have a quick couple of questions. My name is John King. I live on a couple of houses down in Somerset Avenue. Is there gonna be entertainment?
No.
Not at all?
Nope.
You have no plans to put like out in the back like most places? Okay.
No.
That's my question.
Awesome, very good. Anyone else here? All righty. I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing. Is there a second?
I will second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Any motions on the?
I'll make the motion to approve the all alcohol license.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Congratulations, thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Okay. Next, we have Bill Rooney here to discuss the Dayton Rehoboth School District budget.
Good evening. Thank you for having me. I appreciate the opportunity to be here tonight. I just wanted to briefly provide an update since the last time I appeared before the Board of Selectmen and the Finance Committee, which was virtually on March the 10th, and that was regarding the FY27 budget for the Dayton Rehoboth Regional School District. Over the past couple of weeks, I've been grateful to have productive conversations with town officials regarding budget expectations and assessment targets. Quite honestly, it became clear to me during that March 10th meeting that there were some disconnects in communication regarding what I understood the town's desired target to be. My understanding in prior conversations had been that the district should make every reasonable effort to approach 3%, whilst the discussion at the March 10th meeting focused more heavily on a 2.5% expectation. Since that time, I've continued working diligently to identify additional efficiencies and opportunities to reduce the burden on both of our towns while still preserving the educational programming and student opportunities we're trying to build through our Driving Toward 2030 strategic plan. One significant development was the district receiving a $1.5 million career and technical education expansion grant. And while the majority of those funds are designated for facility modifications, equipment, and program startup costs, the grant also included approximately $176,000 in FY27 salary offsets tied to those new programs. I also want to emphasize that these new Chapter 74 programs are not simply additional expenses without long-term value. Approved Chapter 74 programs generate approximately $5,600 more per student in state reimbursement for our district. And as our enrollment continues to rebound, expanding in-district opportunities help both attract and retain students who might otherwise leave for Bristol Plymouth or Bristol Aggie. Over time, that not only increases district revenue, but can also help reduce the tuition and transportation costs paid by our towns for vocational schools. For instance, the town of Dayton, my research indicates that the student charges for BP and BA totaled $2.7 million last year. Last evening, I'm very pleased to share that our school committee recognized the importance of applying those grant funds directly to reduce the FY27 budget. As a result, Dayton's assessment increase was reduced from 3.15% to approximately 2.59%, representing a reduction of roughly $75,500. I believe this reflects a good faith effort by the district to respond to the town's concerns while continuing to move the district forward. Tonight, I am hopeful for your support as we move towards town meeting. After several challenging budget cycles, I think it's important for us to avoid the uncertainty and instability that would come with operating under a 1/12 budget during the summer months. Stability certainly matters, especially for our students, staff, families, and both communities. I am very sensitive to the concerns, but as I have stated over and over, we should be fighting with the state, not with each other. And I appreciate your time and happy to try to answer any questions you might have.
Awesome. Thank you. Any comments?
Well, thank you for, it was a tough meeting for that March 10th. And sorry that it ended up ending the way it did. But obviously you had to leave as well. And but I think the 2.59% shows how much you guys care about the town finances and the boat that we're in. And I appreciate the hard work that you did.
Thank you.
Comments?
As you know, I was very recently elected. This is in fact only my second meeting.
Congrats.
Thank you. Much of what I had to say during my campaign and so forth was really about finances and keeping taxes as low as possible.
Right.
And keeping costs down. So I have to ask, given how close we are to the 2.5, what would it take to get from 2.59 to 2.5?
Probably 20,000 or so. Because I believe when I presented at the March 10th meeting, I was under the impression I was striving for 3%, and I came in at 3.15, and I believe that represented a difference of around 21,000 or so. But what I can do is I can compute that to the penny and email it to you tomorrow, if that helps.
Do you think there's a way we could get there? And honestly, my reason for asking is I want to try to hold all departments to 2.5. And by not doing so, any department would be taking money from those that are potentially meeting the 2.5.
Yeah. That decision is ultimately the school committee's. But I'm certainly, just like we were continuing to look and we're waiting, hopefully with bated breath on the CTE grant, which we did get. If we continue to look for efficiencies and we find something, then I'm more than happy to present that to the school committee. The other thing that I would just say, just for some context, for those that have kind of been here through my tenure, we went through some very significant attrition for a couple of years with cutting nearly 30 positions. So we're still playing catch up. So I'm proud of the 2.59. I understand where you're coming from. We're trying to have a baseline for everybody to get to 2.5, but there's that historical context that I'm looking at as well.
Can I ask what the percentage increase was from last year, the last year's budget?
I could look it up, but I don't. I know that these percentages that the school committee approved last night are the lowest in my tenure. I want to say district-wide last year might have been 3.8. Town was probably low threes, maybe. So this will be even if it sits at 2.59, it would be the lowest assessment that I proposed to the town in my tenure.
So traditionally, it's been well above the 2.5.
Correct. Yep.
I just want to thank you for always for keeping the Board of Selectmen in the loop, and of course, taxpayers in the town, and looking at alternative methods of funding. This is grant money that you're bringing into our district, and it's benefiting our town. The last time you met with us, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe we only had 30,000 or so, Ralph, in excess levy.
Yeah, yes.
And now you're bringing in an additional 75,000. So you're giving our town and our residents some wiggle room for the future, you know, with any of our needs. So I want to thank you for presenting to us, keeping us in the loop, and always looking for grants. You've done some amazing things in the district with all the grant money that you brought in. So
Thank you very
appreciate
much.
it.
Appreciate it.
It is appreciated. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.
Good night.
You too. Okay. So next we have a joint meeting with the Finance Committee. Hi, guys. Would you guys like to open your meeting? All right.
Motion to open the May 13th, 2026 Finance Committee meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
If we could just keep an eye, Tom is supposed to call in once he lands. We don't need to do the pledge since you guys, I'm sure, have already done it.
We did.
So we'll jump right into it.
So I was able to watch the recording on the meeting that I missed while I was away. I think from my understanding, the primary point of contention is the funding articles around the highway department and the police, right? Because we don't have enough money to go around.
Through the finance chair, first up on the agenda for the finance committee is the reserve fund transfer.
Okay.
Aaron actually had that second for us.
Yeah.
My apologies. Unless Serena's getting nervous.
Chief, do you want to speak to that, or we're good? If anybody has any questions, Chief's here on the first request for 23,000 for the ambulance. Everybody's had a chance to read that.
Everybody. So the 24,000 is to repair ambulance 2, which had a catastrophic failure of the high pressure fuel pump. It shot fine metal grindings throughout the engine. So the engine had to be torn down, the whole fuel system had to be ripped apart, flushed, and all the fuel lines, fuel, everything had to be replaced. So that's
This request from free cash, or was it from the reserve fund? Are we not able to pay with the ambulance fund?
not without a town meeting.
No, that's not me. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that was my main question. Do you have, I know it seems to me it was unforeseen. Is there any indication after you get the work done that there's other things that are gonna be done? Okay.
The truck should actually be finished tomorrow, hopefully.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Who did the work, chief?
Bulldog Fire Apparatus,
And we get any kind of warranty?
with their work, yes.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Let's just bring us to the reserve fund now. Do we know if we?
It's on. The one I just handed to Peter should have it.
I just gave it to Ron to read.
I think it means 36,000.
I was gonna say 16. 16.
Oh, 16. Oh, no.
Any questions? Chief?
There's an amount in the top there.
Any questions? Take a motion.
Take a motion to approve the transfer from reserve fund in the amount of $23,000 for the ambulance repair equipment for maintenance.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Guys have it.
Thanks, Chief.
Second request. Serena, you want to
No, it's from me.
address that one?
I ran out of money to attend the conferences. I wasn't planning on attending March, and then they needed teachers, so I ended up attending. So I didn't leave any funds left for the June conference. So I was hoping that the town could fund my attendance at the June conference. I looked at the speakers, and they do have good speakers in relevant situations to what's happening in the town. So I didn't feel that, I wanted to be there to see what the state had to say and guidance on some items that are coming up.
Any questions on that? So that will be 15,436 after would leave after a transfer here. Motion?
Take a motion to approve the request for the amount of $1,000 for professional development services.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Yes, have it.
Thank you.
All right, so Ralph, do you want to take the lead on this?
Sure, I guess, as Jake started and I rudely interrupted. So we're looking at a warrant article review and recommendations. A few of the items had changed. We have a new number for Dayton Rehoboth school assessment, but I think the first and foremost, there were four articles in the warrant addressing capital needs. Two were for a truck each for the highway department. Board of Selectmen and the finance committee agreed to fund that through free cash. The second one, there was no recommendation to do anything. Then, and then the final two articles had to do with administrative vehicles for the police department, administrative vehicle each. We don't have enough money in free cash to fund that, so the Board of Selectmen and the Finance Committee requested the chief come in to see can we do some creative financing for leasing or anything of that nature to see if we could move that article forward. So we have both the chief and the deputy chief here who did some homework on it, and we'll present that to both boards.
Before we get into that discussion, is everyone on the same page that we are? I believe we already discussed this. We're gonna fund the plow truck, so articles 16 from free cash.
One of them, correct?
One
And
of
then
them.
the other one, right?
Right, so we're all on the same page on that. So we're really just here just to meet on the police.
Correct.
Okay. Are you guys available to give us tell us what you found? All right.
Good evening, everybody. So after the last meeting, we had myself and Deputy Chief Richards met with a member of the FinCom and Cabbage. Met in my office, went through all the inventory of the department, answered all their questions, provided inventory sheets on mileage, and as well as an updated list we have tonight. I think that was already provided, right? The updated list with mileages, idle times and whatnot. And we were told to explore the options of doing a lease program. Lease programs were brought up couple years back when it was presented for, or talked about getting for cars. It was rejected that they didn't want to go, the town didn't want to go down that road, so it came up again, so I was like, oh, great, the deputy chief, I let speak, he's been doing vehicle, fleet maintenance in our department since, Chief McDonald's been around. When, Sergeant Dutra retired, he pretty much asked Ryan to take it over, and he's been voluntold since. He's done an outstanding job with it, and, he takes pride in what he does, so I'm gonna let him speak on that behalf tonight, because that's where I think, a lot of the questions may be asked.
I gave everybody a kind of pamphlet of what we have for cars and what mileage is, and then there would be the next column is total hours. Those are hours that the car's running, the total hours, and then on the average, a car, 1 hour of idle time equals, I went with an average, because it goes from 25 to 30, and Chevy does 33 to 34 miles for an hour, so I went with 30 miles. So that's the total miles on the vehicles under the hours. So if you look, we have a 2026 that we just got in March. It's got 1,900 miles on it, 241 miles, so it's equivalent to 7,000 miles already on that car, and going ahead since March. And a couple of the other cars, I know if you look at the two, they're kind of like an orange color, those are hybrids, so the miles are gonna be cut in half, because half the time the motor's running, half the time it's not. So those look a little lower, in case you're looking at that part. What our plan was we could trade in the 2019 Taurus, which is equivalent to 140,000 miles, and the Nissan Rogue, which is almost at 100,000 miles, that didn't have an hour meter on it, so I wasn't able to see how many hours were on it. We trade those two in, which would bring the lease down. Right now, the quote's about 3,500 each vehicle they would give us as a trade-in. I can talk to them and maybe negotiate something a little better. So that would bring it down 3,500. We would move Cruiser 580, which is the hybrid, currently being used as an administrative vehicle, up to the detective's car. That still has a lot of life in it, if you look at the mileage. And then I got the quote from Ford for the financing. So now it says, I know it says 2027 Ford Explorer, and it comes to 121. That number is not right, because Ford has not released the 2027 pricing yet. So this is the 2026 pricing, which there could be something left over on the lot, but currently I was shooting for the 2027 pricing just to get, a number. But she gave me that number. That includes the build out from ITS, that includes the police lights, the radios, the whole package that we would get. They would do $545 underwriting fee, and we could go with either 3 or 5 years on the lease. 3 years be $43,903.39. 5 years would be the $28,408.53. That's for 2 vehicles. At the end of the lease term, we have the option to buy the lease out or turn it in. We can buy it out for $1. So we get that Cruiser for $1 at the end. There's no prepayment penalties. That would be the sheet after. It kind of goes down the whole lease stuff, the municipal financing. When we do sign the lease with Ford, or when we do, apply for the credit and do the lease with Ford, they send us the title, and they're just the first lien holder. So we have the title in hand. We make the 305 payments, and at the end, you can either buy it out for $1, or we could go into a residual buyout, and that'd be turn it in, and they put the money towards it. But a lot of our Fords and Chevys, they're not holding up to what they used to be. I have a 2024 Tahoe in there, and it's still in the shop right now. That's already had the bottom half of the motor rebuilt. Due to Chevy knowing the issue, if that car idles too long, it leaks oil. So they rebuilt the bottom half of the motor. It went back, and it's been there since, because it's on back order, had a water pump leak already, and now it needs a radiator. And that car is a 2024. If you look at the odometer, it's got 37,000 miles. So everything up to the radiator was covered under warranty, but because we drove it off the lot, it went 8,000 miles. Yeah, 36,800 miles. Now it's out of warranty. So we have to pay for the radiator, but it's equivalent to having 159,000 already in 2024, just by the mileage, and that's the low side. Chevy came in at 175,000 idle time when he sent me the service invoice.
What's the detective drive now?
Nissan Rogue, 2019 Nissan
And
Rogue.
what will happen with that vehicle?
That will be traded in.
That's when it's gonna get traded in.
Yeah. So it's kind of like shuffling cars around. And if this lease program works out, we could do cruisers moving forward, do the lease program with the cruisers and buy them up for $1. A lot of it's idle hours. It's driving around town. It's doing traffic in certain places. It's, on the side of the road, monitoring traffic. It's crazy. We've been with the department, working with the guys, shut off the car when you can. The problem is we can't stop on the side of the road, monitor traffic with the car off because the radio is connected to the car. The computer shuts down after so long once the battery voltage reaches a certain rate. And then just the maintenance on the cars is it's starting to get a lot. We have a 20 Cruiser 579. That was our Friday car. That's already had almost a complete motor put in it, almost a complete transmission put in it. That car, and then just moving forward with the Fords, it's just been transmission problems being rebuilt. That's obviously mileage and just the driving. It's not made like it used to.
Is the issue that we're going with all SUVs and not cars?
The cars are, Ford makes it's almost like a Mustang kind of car. It's a hybrid thing. I trying to stay away from hybrid. So we don't really have a certified guy to work on it. And it's really expensive. Batteries get really expensive, run into electrical issues. So I'm trying to stay away from them, but we do have 2 of them.
So what happens when all this work needs to be done? Or do we have a warranty on the cars, an extended warranty to cover parts of the cost, or is this just straight out-of-pocket cost?
Luckily, I got all the cars in for the transmission rebuilt before the warranty ran out, before the powertrain warranty ran out. The motor was covered by Ford. Ford did it. It was a $13,000 job. They covered that part. A lot of the normal stuff, wear and tear, some of the maintenance is on us.
Okay. So I guess my question around that is if a lot of this stuff is dinging you, after the powertrain warranties are run out, things like that, what have you guys ever looked at, or is there for this type of vehicle, like there are for a normal vehicle, where you can pay, $25 a month or whatever it is, you get an extended warranty that could potentially, since you guys utilize them so much more than a normal person utilizes their vehicle, that would cover some of these repair costs so that you guys aren't getting hit once it's out of powertrain.
We've never looked into extending the warranty. So I couldn't give you a price on how much that would be.
Yeah, I'm just curious. I don't know, obviously they do it for a person's car, right? But since this is a completely different animal of a vehicle situation, would they have something?
There's a lot of things that wouldn't cover us too because of the nature of what the car's doing.
Right.
Hard miles.
I feel like it would have to be a specific type
And
of
then there's a
policy.
lot of fine print in those warranties that don't cover certain things, so would the town really be gaining from something like that?
Right, and that's I'm just I'm asking. Because the other question that I have is, have you ever looked into a fully electric? Because there is no motor, there is no transmission, there is no oil leaks, there is no nothing like that. And yes, you'd have to have a charging station. But since you guys are doing a lot of idle hours, it's irrelevant with battery.
Yeah, so it's more that the battery deteriorates over time on those. So then we're gonna end up in kind of almost in the same spot.
Right, but if you're only keeping vehicles for 2 or 3 years.
Well, we have 2016s, we have 2017s. So we build them up and then we push them down to the detail cars, which does that.
But also you wouldn't have to have fuel costs, which we know are.
We've never visited it, but a lot of departments are staying away from it for some reason. I mean, we've never gone down that road.
Our fuel lines are always maintained, we've always maintained our fuel line, we've never gone into the red in our fuel line
Oh, no, I know, I'm just thinking there's more money back in your pocket if you weren't running, having to have it,
Certain departments started going towards batteries and now they're all pulling back. When I go to chiefs meetings, they went that way to go to batteries, now everyone's pulling back because of money of putting charging stations and everything else, and now because of the colder winters, are they gonna maintain? Are they gonna be practical compared to a gas motor vehicle?
Yeah, no, again, I just, from a maintenance perspective, that's what I was trying to, because there basically is.
I agree with it, because we've talked about it, and I'm like, go down that road, and then all of a sudden it's too late to turn back, because now we're stuck with vehicles that won't run in the middle of the winter because batteries are defective.
Right, and I'm not saying you replace the whole fleet or anything like that, but especially if you're looking at a detective vehicle, right, or something like that. I mean, you could potentially get significantly more life out of it, and the detective vehicle isn't, even if you lose, let's call it, because I think they typically say it's 75% of the range in the winter. right? So even if you're down to 75%,
That's why-
it might not be an issue.
That's why we wanted to move the hybrid vehicle that he's occupying right now to the detective vehicle.
Right.
That's already up for a battery also to get replaced.
Well, the hybrids are tough because basically you're managing two systems, you're basically warranting two systems, which, you know, it's not one or the other, it's both, and each one can have its own issues, to your point with the electrical thing. The other question I had is, so I know you had this, is there a typical lifespan, like, you know, we look at some of these that are crazy, right, that says like 687,000, you know, hours, miles combo on the 574, right? And we're looking to replace the 140, and well, we got a question mark because we don't know on the road. Is there a lifespan typically for a vehicle like this, when you look at that final number, that you're like, oh, hey, now it's real bad, right?
So we change oil every month. Those are detail cars, so those are just, that's a lot of idling time that they're just sitting out there.
Right.
We're getting back money from the detail cars. Every time they're out there, we get paid from third-party details. That goes into the cruiser revolving account.
Okay.
And that's used to like offset prices on buying a new car and buying equipment for the station, so we don't have to come to the town, we don't have to come to the finance committee. That's why we started that revolving account. We currently don't have enough in there to be like drain the whole account, put it towards these two cars. Over time, over probably 3-4 years, depending on what the details are in town, like be able to.
Okay.
What's in there for that?
Roughly around 3,000. Well, we used it last year to buy the trailer, which was 7, so we used that instead of taking it out of the budget and going to town meeting for it. We needed a trailer for quads and bikes, whatever else, so we used 7,000 out of that last year to purchase the trailer that we didn't have.
We generated about 10,000 a year.
It honestly, it depends on.
Yeah, it depends how busy it
many
is.
details there
If
are.
there's a lot of, we had pole details for like almost 2 years straight, so the fund was going up, but if things are slowing down, they've appeared to slow down a little bit, less money's going in it.
Don't you use certain cars for detail work only?
Yeah, those are the green ones.
Yeah.
The ones highlighted green.
And,
That's why those are higher hours. Usually we bump them down. We always take the newer car, add it into the line, and take the
Right.
oldest car out. It's not that car is not reliable, that oldest car. It's just, I'd rather have something that I know is brand new. Not saying it's going to be reliable, being brand new, but it's new. And it's, you know, those are the cars going to your house, going to
Right.
medical call, stuff like that, you know.
what about the optics of 2 new administrative cars when you need so many more police cars?
Right now, is the window of opportunity to replace the 2 admin cars. Mainly because the Taurus that I'm driving now is at 95,000 miles. It's a 2019, so we're pushing to get time out of that car, but I mean, it's hitting 100,000 miles. We've had some mechanical issues with it. So the thought process now is to trade that in while it's still, we can get some money for it, as well as the Nissan, and slide the deputy's car down to the detective. And then hopefully we can get by a year without replacing a patrol car, but we've replaced 3 patrol cars since I've been chief. And right now we're in not a great standing, but we're in a fair standing right now.
Wouldn't it make sense to get 1 patrol car and 1 administrative car?
Right now, it'd be
Do
a
you both
lot
use them
more.
at the same
We'd be
time?
looking at a lot more money.
What's the cost difference?
Patrol car?
Yeah.
Probably about, last year was 88,000.
Versus the 62.
Yeah, so it's 88,000, because that's a different build out.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
But every year we try to replace a patrol car. And
We just got one in March. So we're us trying to take, that's why I said, using that window of opportunity to be able to move a couple cars around and trade some older cars in to just unload them and get the admin cars updated right now, because we've had those cars for a few years. And then try to maybe buy a year without requesting a patrol car, depending on what's going on mechanically in the fleet, you know?
I think this, the thread you're pulling at, which a question I wanted to ask as well, is it seems like a patrol car could be used for you as an administrative vehicle if needed, but an administrative vehicle could not be utilized as a patrol car. Is that correct?
True. Yeah.
Is that what you're thinking?
So, but when you're using a patrol car administratively, to outfit it after the fact with a cage and everything else, you're kind of spending money. Again, because now you're driving a patrol car as an administrative function, so you're buying an overpriced vehicle.
I think,
You know
yeah,
what I mean?
but I think so, but I think I do agree with Peter's line of thought again around, you're asking for two admin cars at, call it 122. Whereas I feel a little bit if you were coming to us asking for a single regular car at 80.
Is there an older patrol car that could serve as an admin car and be replaced with a new patrol car? Is that kind of where you're going as well?
That's the issue we're against. I mean, mileage wise.
There isn't a suitable car on the lot right now that could be a patrol car that could be used as a admin car?
Strip it down.
Why would you have to strip it down?
Yeah, would it be necessary?
Who cares if there's a cage in there or not?
No, I'm saying, but to drive around a mock unit, I mean, it's not a, you know what I mean? Like,
How often do you patrol the streets daily, both of you?
we go out on calls, yeah. When needed, so lately we're on calls yesterday with guys we were trying to apprehend, and I was on calls today on my way home.
Yep.
I mean, it varies.
Right.
I think the other thing too is, because I posed all of these questions when I met with the chief and the deputy. By the way, thank you again, gentlemen, for letting me come in and ask some hard questions. And one of the things we did discuss was the life of these two admin cars. You're looking at anywhere between 5 to 8, 9 years. They're not going to get as much road rage on them as the patrol cars. So they're going to have a longer lifespan. And at some point, they can be moved around in the fleet. So we're going to get more use versus buying another patrol car and maybe one admin car, and then in a couple of years having to replace another patrol car. So I think it's more or less looking at where are we going to get the most for the buck right now. I have to commend them with reviewing the leasing option, because they're coming to us for, well, when you take in account of the, getting the money for the two cars, they're really only looking for $20,000 right now to get two cars versus what they first proposed, which was $122,000, which we don't have. So I think they've been creative in the process. And again, in looking at this, these two cars, we're going to get a lot of life out of them versus a patrol car we're going to have to replace in a couple of years because of the amount of use that the patrol cars take.
Thank you. They have been creative with their
very much
funding.
so.
And they also have requested this before, at least one cruiser, and we had to put it off due to funding. So it's also timing where if we had refunded that when the police department originally asked that admin cruiser, we would be in a spot where we're only looking at one now. But they worked with us. We put that off. So now we're at a point where we asked them to come back, be creative. They've met with everyone,
and maybe leasing is going to be the way to go in the future. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, napkin math wise, if you look at hard cost at 122, 3 payments for both cruisers at 43, put it at about 131 over 3 years, right? It's about a $10,000 increase in cost. If you go to the 5-year payment, it's about another $10,000, so 142. So you're adding 20 grand over 5 years for 2 cruisers, as opposed to paying the upfront 122. I mean, it's nice. I think my question is maybe for you. Would we then start? How would that work from a budgeting perspective? We would just add would we add another line inside the police budget as like lease vehicles, and that way we can track it
So it would be, because it's an article, it would be a separate article within this budget. like within the operating, but outside of the appropriations.
Yeah, because I think, which as you guys probably know, the other issue we're running into is the fire department just had a pretty good rush as well. And, you know, he didn't even ask us for another one because he's running a 2004 admin vehicle right now from 2004. Was that?
I caught fire.
Caught fire. Okay, see, so he had a 2004. No, it's not, right? So, it's tough for us when we look at, and I'm just speaking personally, when we look at a laundry list of cruisers, and I'm not saying that your concerns aren't valid, but when I look at, you know, the fire department who went from 3 vehicles to 1, and we need to figure something out for them as well. And now I'm wondering if we've looked at leasing for you, because.
Yeah, that's something we'll have to look at, but I'm waiting for insurance to get back to me on the one that caught fire.
Right.
We've purchased pursuit rated vehicles in the past, which the car I'm driving now is a pursuit rated vehicle at the 95,000 mile mark. That was Chief Mack's previous car when he retired. But you're paying all that extra money for a pursuit rated vehicle, and you can spend less money on an admin vehicle, but you can move it around later on to the detective or put it in the detail line and save some money instead of just throwing, you know, money out there to say, hey, we're gonna get pursuit rated vehicles. I understand Mr. Karen's point on it, but when you're looking at the big picture and you're like, all right, the window of opportunities now to try to move cars around and not load some older cars like the Nissan and the Taurus, you start looking at admin costs because they're a lot less money than buying a pursuit rated vehicle. That's the reason why I went this way.
Ford doesn't make one, but does Chevy make a car?
So I've had nothing but problems with Chevy, so I'm trying to stay away from them. That's why our next, our other car was a Ford Explorer.
Right, so are we pigeonholed that we can only do Fords and Chevys? Well,
So no, there's Ford, Chevy,
I mean, is there
and
no other
Dodge.
makes that creates a,
Ford, Chevy, and Dodge that do pursuit rated vehicles. So Dodge, Seekonk, the town over, had a bunch of Dodges, they had nothing but front end problems. They're not good for quick jaunts, they need to cool down in between. So like driving from the station to a call and then jumping in the car again in a matter of like 5 minutes and driving again.
right, what I'm saying is, I've owned all kinds of cars. My favorite cars are Hondas and Toyotas. They last forever, and I know you can beat the snot out of them, and they keep going and keep going, especially the engines. And are we pigeonholed that there's no other car coming? I'm just throwing those out.
I asked this very question when we were there.
Yeah, these are, I guess, I don't know, I can't answer that. I have to look at the municipal bid and make sure they're on the bid list and, you know, they're under contract. Like, I don't know if Honda is, I don't know if Toyota is. So I don't.
Yeah, they're limited to what manufacturers are doing the specifically rated vehicles.
It's American made,
yeah.
So I'm looking at these repair costs. And you're looking at 7,000, 2,300, these are ones on the green. You're over $11,000, actually close to $13,000. And, you know, the best lease option with a 5-year is like 28. I mean, it's half of what you'd be paying for that lease. And as far as the electric ones go, you've already had to do a charging system and a transmission rebuild, and those are the newer cars. They're both 21s.
Yeah, the hybrids are an issue.
So until they're perfected, I don't think we really should be going down that road with the hybrids.
Deputy Chief.
And these terms are unbelievable. I mean, if I'm looking at these lease terms and what they're offering you.
It's basically you're financing the vehicle. It's essentially what you're doing. It's just they call
No
it
down
lease.
payment.
I mean,
you buy it for $1 at the end.
Great.
Yeah.
I was like, I couldn't get this. Yeah, here it is.
So the admin
cost of maintenance on all the vehicles, tax exempt interest, no down payment. I mean, can I get that deal?
exactly, so.
At 8%, Doug, yes, you can.
You're
We'll talk
05.
after.
Or 5.
No.
See, the
8%.
I think the problem is out of
I think
all
it's 5
this
on the.
is that it's what
70
what
minutes.
can we afford?
Right.
because we don't have funds currently to be able to do that. So that's what makes
This one.
that work.
Can I like where you're going, but I wanted to ask, we're talking about this equipment that can't be put in or isn't available for Toyotas and Hondas and so forth, to turn them into a reasonable police car. But in terms of an administrative car, is it possible to get the radio and whatever minimal equipment is needed for an admin
Equipment
car?
still has to be approved.
Be on a bid list.
Yes, we have, there's a municipal bid list of what.
It has to be, okay, and it's just not.
No. I had this discussion earlier today, and I have a Toyota pickup truck, I said, I wish Toyota made a cruiser, because I guarantee we wouldn't have half the issues we have.
You get 30 if you want.
What would it take to put it on?
We'll never die.
Yeah, right.
That's bigger than us.
Yeah.
So I think the other question is, what's the difference in power between a Toyota and a Ford?
Well, that's something that could be easily fixed, because if you take a look at a Honda or a Toyota, you're talking about a Lexus or an Acura. They all make engines that are extremely competitive. The only issue, it sounds like to me, it's what somebody has decided, like you said, beyond our pay grade, on what is gonna be, board certified or whatever. And I think that's really ridiculous, but we have to go with what we have.
And I think police options are great options too, because as you were talking about, like the repairs and everything's covered under the leases. I think that's why a lot of other towns that I've spoken to Chief Booney, Abington Chief, a few weeks back, lease options. A lot of towns are starting to look at that avenue of lease options, because they're getting more cars, and instead of buying one or two, they're getting more cars in a lump sum. And then at the end of the term, having the option either with the residual of turning the cars in for what they're worth, or buying them out at the end of the term.
Right, because then we, theoretically, if we had a lease fleet, right, you're just maintaining that lease fleet budget item on an annualized basis, and then you're swapping cars as necessary, which in your line of work.
The thing that concerns me about that is the premium you're paying for the lease. With one or two, it seems like it makes sense, because you'd
have to be cognizant of that.
But if you've got 8 or 10 of these,
looks like it's about $5,000 a car. About $5,000 a car, right?
And
So
if you're talking 5 cars,
right.
Now you're not
for
giving
sure.
yourself any phase.
For sure, but if you don't have the upfront cost, which we don't have, $122,000. So
In the back end, if you buy it for $1, now all your payments stop.
There's no prepayment penalties or anything. You can buy it up. We come into money somewhere.
And we've done that with other leases that we have. When we have the money, we're able to prepay. So that's nice.
yeah, we did that with last year's articles. Yeah.
So that was gonna be my next question for Ralph and Serena. We consciously paid off every lease that we had this past year with free cash, because we knew what was coming. So now, how comfortable are you two
I
with?
think that's a consideration. I mean, what's being presented is, right, a 3-year lease and a 5-year lease. So first of all, can we go to a 5-year lease, or we're just limited to 3? Number one. Number two, these are for 2 cars. So these are for 2 cars. Do you split it? Say, and if you go for the, again, 5-year, 1 car, let's say it's $24,000 a year. Can we handle 24,000? I hope we can. I hope we can. I think, and right. So how do we? We don't have that much left in free cash. I think. Do you remember the number?
56,000.
56. Yeah, I was kind of doing quick calculations. 56,000. Things come up. So I would ask that both the Board and Finance Committee first resolve the issue. Is it 1 car or 2 cars?
Yeah.
And then once you decide that, then we could have a discussion on, do we have the funding for 2 cars?
If you only get one, what is the order of operations for that? Which one goes? Taurus or Taurus goes?
Just to clarify, did you say we possibly could not do a 5-year lease?
Can we do a 5-year lease?
There's an option.
Legally, we can.
That's, yeah.
We can.
Yeah.
Okay, no, I know in general, we're like municipalities are.
Okay.
So if we've had a history of paying these off early and we went with the 5, then we're not obligated beyond the 5-year on that lower cost per year, then it goes into another budget.
I would just hesitate to say we have a history of doing that early. We did it because we had reserve funds to draw on and we were trying to get stuff recurring payments off the books, right? So I would just hesitate to say like we have a history of doing it.
If we, again, to illustrate that point, if we didn't pay them off, we would be, I forget what the numbers were, but we would be trying to find that money for this budget.
Right.
Which we
wouldn't have.
Yeah.
Sorry, so the order of operations would turn, the Taurus would go, road would stay.
You know, we came up with $295,000, just like that, to come up with a dump truck. This year is half of that. And I think the police department has demonstrated that they're thinking strategically and smart with their maintenance and how they're gonna move their assets around. Personally, I think Dayton's a town that supports their police department, wants to give our departments the resources they need. I think everyone is definitely thinking in the best interest of the taxpayers and being resourceful. But I think if it was an exorbitant expense, it wouldn't be such a thoughtful discussion that we're having. It would be very easy for us to say, no, this is not for us. I think we're all really thinking this through hard because we're trying to give the department the resources they're asking for. And I personally think they've demonstrated it. I like the 5-year lease idea personally, because if it gives us the flexibility, if we don't have the funds that, or it's leaner years, that we can just pay that minimum lease payment. And hopefully, being an optimist, and hopefully the state sees the financial pressures that all of these towns, including Dayton, is facing, that we can pay that lease off early. So me, for one, I support this. The police department has done without recently with their request for cruisers. So I just kind of look at this as catch up and kind of smart planning with their assets.
Can I say one thing?
Yeah, just the dump truck that's being replaced is 1990, right?
96.
Yeah,
96.
Yeah,
So
I would push back on that a little bit of like, we found the money for a dump truck, because it was dead, it exploded.
Talking about that dollar
Not quite
value.
on fire, not quite on fire, but essentially was on fire.
Hey, Ryan, the 2 cars that we're gonna trade in, ballpark off the top of your head and lowball it. How much money do you think you're gonna save in repairs for those 2 cars if you had to be stuck with them for a while? Just in oil changes alone and all that. Give me the numbers.
4,000 maybe.
Okay.
4,000 each car. Not saying nothing went wrong, but I'm aware of that.
So there are some small amount of funds that maybe the chief can help us with next year in his budget to help put towards one of the payments of the lease, if it works out that way, you know?
So I was gonna say that we do have that revolving cruiser account. I mean, close to that 5-year mark, if stuff starts to pick up and that account starts to grow, we can maybe offset that payment a little using that account. Just depends on how the details pan out, but it seems, you know, that's depending on the work, yeah.
These aren't cruisers, so we'd have to see the wording of that revolving.
Yeah, it says police equipment, accessories.
I think it was
pretty-
adjusted, I think it was
yeah,
adjusted for that.
Pretty sure it's big enough.
580 is your car right now.
Correct.
Is the 122,000 include equipping the vehicle with whatever it is that you need to?
That's everything, yeah, Ford will finance the whole build out and everything.
I saw that in the packet.
There's no extra. This
Right.
is it.
But like I said, these are 2026 prices,
Yeah, you're gonna get a 7.5% bump, probably.
so that's just what they had right now. Ford hasn't released the 2027 yet. So I'm not sure, but if that goes that much more, maybe I can offset it with the trades and negotiate with them on getting the trades down.
I know we're, I know we are discussing the police article specifically, but I do just want to reiterate again, my line of thinking is, I like the lease option a lot, and I think that's a smart way, as long as we don't, to Glenn's point, get over ambitious with piling on a ton of leases. I question, and I'm worried because we have to deal with the fire department situation as well, of him needing an administrative vehicle as well. And I personally would be, I appreciate this a lot, because I really came in with a pretty set no for both, and I'd be okay with doing one for the police and getting a lease payment for the fire department for the other admin cost. That way, at least both departments are getting something, and we're not blowing out what,
My similar thinking is, I would almost prefer to go with one now and fall, see where everything is, and
right, it's not a permanent no, it's
you
just.
guys will know at that point more, he'll know more where he stands, and then address it when we've got free cash. So
If we
for
wait
next
till
year.
the fall, though, do we go into the higher price thing at that point?
I think we're gonna go into that.
Yeah, they're gonna go into it anyways.
When they release it, I don't know when they release it, maybe June, I think they'll start releasing.
June.
So we look at, if we did one, chop it in half, it'd be, if you went to 514.2, which, yeah, it's a lot. I mean, that's something where even if worst case scenario, if we get the funding for our reserve fund, we could do, you know what I mean? Like, it's not as,
Yeah.
yeah, I think that would be my opinion, would do one for them now, and then with the preparation of either fall for fire and the second one for them. But at least we can get them started on one now to get the Taurus out, and then we can incrementally go that way. I'm just worried about overspending.
Yeah, overcommitting. Even though it's what we're talking about $14,000, but I mean, here we are, $28 million budget with $57,000 of free cash, $16,000 of reserve. And I'm assuming at this point, the budgets are pretty tight, so we're not really looking at a lot of options for transfers next month, and obviously not much left in reserves at all.
So we're at 53 for free, right? 56. So that puts us at 42-ish. I'll call it 40 for easy napkin math. It's tight, but
I don't recall it in my years ever being at $40,000 at the end of the year.
not in the last 3 years. That would be my thoughts. I mean, any other one's better than none?
Well, no, and I don't necessarily disagree with you, but as far as the fire chief.
He's gonna need one too. I'm saying one.
No, I understand that, but are we gonna do that like now, or is he gonna wait till the fall?
He's gonna have to wait till the fall, because there's no article.
So doesn't he need two though, the fire chief? He's down to one, he had three, right?
Well, he had 3 because we gave him, one was replacing a second one that was bumping down, and the 04 was originally gonna be retired. But then the accident with the tree happened with the one that the middle one that bumped down, so we had to maintain the 04. So
Right, and
he
then
needs
that one
2.
caught fire.
Right, so he needs 2. He has 1. He needs 2, not 3. Correct, Chief?
Correct.
Why are you laughing?
It's been a crazy year.
The summary of events, yeah.
So why wouldn't we do his 2 now? And since we have to wait for the fall for him anyways, and do his in the fall.
And do two.
Then you're buying 3 instead of 2. My suggestion was to buy 2, 1 for them now, 1 for them in the fall, and if we have the funds to potentially add a third, but we're not committing to the third, because now you're asking for 3 instead of, he needs 1 regardless.
I thought it was 4 too, I'm confused.
He just needs 1. So it'd be two requests now.
Just 1.
So think about that right now there's a need for 3 vehicles. 2, 1.
Okay.
So then that would be one of them out of the way.
Right.
Possibly, and one for the fall, probably.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't disagree with any of the comments either, and I 100% agree on having too many leases, but I don't think that 3 lease payments is overly ambitious. I think that's reasonable, and I look at my own
Yeah.
personal finances and my own vehicle that I just bought in 2024, and it's gone up $5,000, the new model. So if you think about interest and, the cost of, it's gonna keep going up the longer we wait anyways, whether we're paying it in interest or we're putting it off. I would rather support both departments. And I think too, when you think of the maintenance and kind of shuffling those vehicles around and putting,
Yeah, it was like 13,000.
yeah, I understand the margins are getting tight, and I'm very well aware of that.
I think we're
But
gonna
for
regret if we don't.
public safety, I just don't see, if we're gonna be spending money on these types of things, I would like to see them going towards the safety of our residents, supporting these departments. I don't know, I don't think it's overly ambitious personally.
I agree with just one. I don't think we should do the two.
And I think we revisit the second one for police in the fall.
In the fall, 5 months.
Yeah.
What kind of cars are we talking about? Ford what?
Explorers.
Explorers?
Yep, ST line.
Do you guys need to talk first, or you want us to?
You guys can make your motions, we'll follow suit.
So this article, there's
How do we do this?
It's 2 articles.
Right, but we're not,
So I would say we,
If I may, I had a brief discussion with the Board of Selectmen. If for the articles, and we put it further on that line, for the articles, if you're only going to fund one of the police cars, my advice and suggestion would be, as also you only funding one of the trucks, is open the warrant, amended to remove those two, so we don't have confusion on town meeting floor. And then close it. If you already know, you're only gonna have to pay for one truck, one highway truck. It's the case where you're gonna do one police vehicle, then we just make sure we agree that in the next line of the agenda, we just sort of take those 2 articles out, because it's easier at this stage, because we gotta finalize the warrant tonight. It's easier to amend by taking out articles. We don't really wanna add articles at this stage.
right. So my second follow-up question to that is, since the articles are for purchase, not lease, does that mean it has to be rewritten?
Yes.
Okay. And then when we need to vote on it again? Okay.
So do we make a motion for the 2 vehicles on the lease first?
how do you want us to do that?
The motion would be to just take the cards one at
a time. So can we start, I guess it really doesn't matter, because.
I would say, I would say just to, I want to make like easy, just Article 14 for the lease, and then no recommendation on 15 if I'm remembering this correctly, maybe just take it out.
Yeah.
I think that might be the cleanest way to do it.
We're getting a no from the end of the table.
Well, then.
So Article 14 is for the 66,000, and
Yeah.
Article 15 has the 3,500 trade-in
Okay.
reduced in there already. And so the BOS can make their recommendation if they want to remove Article 14, and then I would say that the FinCom just needs to vote on Article 15. And then decide if it's the 3-year or the 5-year. And then if we could just round up, because that's not gonna be enough money.
14.5 would be 6, 14.5 would be 6.
On the 5-year.
Yeah. Are we 5 year, you think?
Yeah, I'm thinking 5 year for the 2.
So we're gonna have to get an agreement on that, because I think half the table says 1 for now. And that's why we're talking about removing one of the police vehicles. We're moving Article 14 and then revisiting it in the fall, and then approving Article 15 for the second one with a 5-year lease. So that would be 14,500 additional costs instead of 62,000.
To remove Article 15, if that's what we're going to do.
The other car.
Because they can't vote on something that's not going to be there.
Well, yeah, that's why we budgeted a little, because if you do the math, it's like 14,200. Or is it 14,500?
Yeah.
Give a little bit.
Are they gonna
Both
change the
of-
price?
reopen,
Because
move.
we went in for two on the lease.
I don't believe so. I can find out tomorrow for sure.
Okay, that would be my only question, is are they giving us a deal on two? And so if we go, we would just want one, they're gonna go, well, then it's gonna be a totally different price. That would be my only question.
Municipal.
No.
Prices. Price.
The price is set.
Price is the price, and that's what you get.
1 or 10.
Yeah, one or 10. Because they're already bought at bulk, right? Because they're not just going to Dayton.
I'm sorry?
Because they're already bought at bulk, so they're not just going to Dayton, right? So whether you buy 1 or 10, the price per vehicle is the price per vehicle. All right, so BOS has to vote to rescind one of the articles, or how does?
We could do that after.
Wait, should they, because they're changing the article, maybe they can open it?
I definitely.
We might not, maybe if the finance committee, if the finance committee makes their motion, we could take that in consideration. I think the finance
Fair enough.
committee should make their motions first.
Okay, do you want us to do article at a time?
I think
If
the
they
warrant
have to
needs,
open it,
I think the warrant needs to be opened first.
Yeah, it's a, yeah. Because we're changing
Yes,
the wording of the article.
and the dollar.
Yeah, we can only vote on the wording of the article.
Yes.
Okay, I make a motion to open the warrant article.
All right, we have a motion. Is there a second? Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
So now we can make a recommendation, or?
So the warrant's open now.
The warrant's open. Should the board of selectmen vote to have Article 14 reflect as a lease? Serena, and then they vote on it?
Either one. Yeah,
Right, 'cause then we can
either
just-
14 or 15.
Well, yeah, so I think then the selectmen should vote to amend Article 14 to be a lease.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Sorry, no, go ahead. You're saying to have that one as the lease?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and then yeah, Article 14 as the lease. And then we could do the price. And then I think the finance committee could recommend and then it goes
I'll entertain a motion.
If I give did you get, you want me to give a recap? Article 14, to see if the town will appropriate and transfer from available funds to sum up to whatever the lease price is to for the lease of a fully equipped patrol car.
Any motions on the floor?
Do you want a dollar amount, unless we did napkin that, what do you think of 14.5?
20 to 24.2.
If you want to do straight.
Give it a little extra on the 3.
Yes.
Thank you.
Do we just do one? What do we do?
Yeah, one of the two.
Yeah, so if you're looking at the 5-year lease, it's 14.5, would give us a little bit of cushion for a potential price increase for the 27th.
3-year would be 24.2.
I'm sorry.
22.2.
Is it the same figure for 5 years? Is that correct?
It'd be less, it'd be 14,500 for the 5-year. It'd be 22,200 if you wanted to suggest a 3-year.
It's 14.5 for 5 years. stable.
Correct, yes, yeah.
But this is the cost of the 26, but you're gonna be buying a 27. Okay, so
Right,
it's,
so we
it might
budgeted
not
about an
be
extra
14.
$300. Well, we budgeted an extra $300. If you did the actual math, it was 14,200. So we added an extra 300 for the warrant suggestion, we're suggesting for the warrant article. That way, if there's a slight price increase, it could probably eat it up. And if we need to find the extra $50, we find the extra $50.
Any of my colleagues like to make a motion on this?
I'm not gonna make.
I will make the motion.
Okay, could you,
Oh, we gotta do one article at a time. So let's do Article 14. Right?
okay, so Article 14, I'm entertaining a motion, so you.
To amend Article 14
Mhm.
to read 14, to read 5 years for 1 year.
5-year
lease for 1 year.
Okay, in the amount of 14,500.
14,000.
Okay, so we have a motion on the floor. Is there a second? I will step down in second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. All right, motion carries for Article 14. While we're still on this agenda topic of having the warrant open, we might as well make a motion on Article 15 as well. Is there any motions for Article 15? Okay, so is the motion the same as, just for clarification, the same as Mr. Cabbage's motion?
Right.
Okay, so we have a motion on the floor.
There's gotta be a reduction in the price because of the trade.
Are we buying one vehicle or two vehicles?
So now we're on Article 15, so we did Article 14.
Right, so that's the first vehicle.
Right, that's vehicle 1, so Article 15 is vehicle 2.
So you guys want to recommend to buy a second vehicle?
So we're in the middle of a motion, so we just made a motion, so we can't say that, point of order, we need a second. And then discussion, you could ask that, so we have a motion on the floor, is there a second?
I don't want a second until I fully understand it. I'm afraid I'm a little confused. Is the intention to get 2 vehicles?
It's not my intentions to get 2. That's why I didn't vote for the first one. I'll make a motion. But I'd take the second one because it's a reduction in the price, which is why I made a motion to approve the second one.
Could you just state your motion?
Right. My motion is to approve the Article 15 for a lease vehicle for 5 years in whatever the total is. That's 14,500.
Okay, we have a motion, is there a second?
Article 14 is for one, Article 15 is for one.
And I say, are we allowed to speak?
Wait, you can't under discussion, there's a motion on the floor
Okay.
right now, so there's a motion, is there a second?
I will second.
Okay, so there's a motion, a second, is there any discussion?
So I understand what Peter's doing, because one of them had a lower price because you're valuing the trade-in at $3,500. If you getting that $3,500, so let's say we took the Article 15 out and just had the Article 14, we could take that $3,500 and that you're getting for that trade-in and apply it towards the lease payment.
You assume that this price includes the 2 trades?
No, it doesn't.
Okay.
Yeah, so basically, if we did one, they'd get an extra $3,500, which either they could put in the cruiser revolving fund or something like that.
Or it would go towards the difference between 26 and 27.
Right, or difference 26, 27. So it gives us even a little bit more. But I understand what Peter's doing, but I don't know if it's necessary. Like, I think if one of them being removed and the other one just going with one, they're gonna get the $3,500 regardless, whether you're doing 15 or 14.
It's not 66 and 62.5 now, it's 14.5.
Right.
Peter, I wish I had understood better where you were headed with that.
That's okay.
Okay, we have a motion and a second, so all in favor? Aye?
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. So now we have 2 articles on the floor that
read the same.
Yep. Is there any other motions on the floor?
Can I make a motion to remove one of the 2 articles, removing the more expensive one? I believe that's number.
Well, they're both equal now, remember?
They're both equal.
Yeah, so you just.
Then I make a motion to remove Article 14.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Under discussion, I'm just gonna still say that I almost feel like the finance committee was gonna, I didn't hear their vote, but I kind of heard their discussion. It sounded like their board might be in favor of the 2 police cruisers. I think that they are, I think generally the Board of Selectmen follows suit of the finance committee, not always, but in general. I was hoping that we would get the 2, but So I'm gonna vote no on that motion, but anyways, we have a motion, the second, any other discussion? Okay, all in favor? Aye, and I'm a no, so motion carries. Any other motions on the, on the warrant articles? Okay. And, I guess the floor is yours.
The only article that we need to discuss is Article 15.
I'll make a motion to recommend Article 15 as amended, and to raise and appropriate transfer from available funds, sum of $14,500 for a 5-year lease payment for the police chief's admin vehicle.
What's the recommended funding source?
Free cash.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
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 Opposed? Guys have it.
No. What about 14?
It's gone.
14 doesn't exist.
Doesn't exist.
Oh. 14.
Does the Board of Selectmen have a recommendation on Article 15?
I would vote to recommend.
Okay, we have a motion, is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Is there anything else that you needed from us?
Yeah, there's.
Okay.
Thank you,
So I'm
thank you
not
guys
sure.
very much.
Thank
Thank
you.
Thanks, guys.
I'm not sure what order Ralph wants to address all of them.
Well, now she's throwing it back to you.
Lively discussions.
All right, so we'll do the budget. We have 4 departments that changed from the last meeting. Okay, so the first department, which will need BOS and the FinCom to make new recommendations, is Department 220, the fire department. There was a new contract signed and we did not increase the uniform contractual increase, which is split between the 2 departments. So it's an additional $275, and the handout has the different dollar amounts because the BOS recs and the FinCom recs did not match. So if the Board of Selectmen want to have their discussion and make their recommendation first, then we can move on to the Finance Committee.
Is this the after the new number?
Yes, that is including the new tech 275 is the very bottom number. They would need the motion.
Did this information come out later from our meeting? Is that why we weren't on the same page with the Finance Committee?
We had ended, the difference between us and you guys, we put an extra $5,000 in the repairs and maintenance from some of the money that got pulled back from health insurance.
Because we were worried about the second vehicle that caught on fire. So we were correctly, we were correctly.
But I assuming the slight change is a result of the contractual that.
The 275.
The 275, yeah, so it came after.
Okay, thank you. Any discussions from the board?
No.
Any motions?
I'll make the motion to approve.
So for clarification, your motion's to match the Finance Committee's recommendation?
Correct.
Okay, so we have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Take a motion to amend the Finance Committee recommendations to 860, 531, 39.
Second.
Somebody else gotta make the motion.
So,
Oh, sorry. You want to go ahead?
go ahead.
Okay, I'll make a motion to update Finance Committee recommendation for Department 220 to the amount of $860,531.39.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Guys have it.
Thank you. The next one is the ambulance fund, number 231, and it's the same additional 275. And then on this one, the BOS and the FinCom did have the same recommendation previously.
You guys want to go first? Or you-
Yeah.
Sure. Any motions on the floor?
I'll make a motion to approve, to go with the Finance Committee's recommendation.
All right, we have a motion. Is there a second? Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you. The next one is the building department, 240. Oh, sorry.
No, you're fine. It's all right. I'll make a motion to update the recommendation for Department 233, total amount of $887,949.42. 231, sorry.
Second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Guys have it.
Okay, thank you. Now we're on to building, 241.
Make the motion to go with finance committee's recommendation.
Okay, we have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
I have this one. I'll make a motion to update FinCom's recommendation for Department 241 to $130,452.73.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Guys have it.
And then the next one is not in the packet, but as we heard, the Dayton Rehoboth Regional Assessment has decreased. And then also this morning, we were informed that the Aggie also decreased. So I have a new department total for education.
How much did I get?
I think 20,000, was it 240 before?
Yeah, like
340.
I think that.
It was 360, now it's 327. So does the selectman want the new education number?
We would love that.
$15,974,512.
Any motions on the floor?
Make a motion to accept those new numbers.
Okay, we have a motion. Is there a second? Okay, I will step down in second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, and one no, motion carries.
I'll make a motion to update our recommendation for Department 300, total $15,974,512.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
No.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
The next article previously was number 21, so it might be number 20 now.
Well, it's still 21 on our package, right?
Yeah.
The zoning bylaw.
To obtain whatever parcels and easements as necessary. So it's probably, the older version is 20,000, but now it's reduced to 7,000.
So
So what was the number again?
Article 20 is now $7,000.
I'll make that motion to approve the new $7,000 figure.
Okay, we have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, motion second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
I'll make a motion to recommend Article 20 in the form of $7,000 for easements purchases from free cash.
Second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Guys have it.
That's everything I have for the finance committee.
Does the board want to make any recommendations on the zoning bylaws?
I thought we already did.
No. No.
Number.
21, 22. 23, because that's what might be called 24, 21, 22, 24, 25.
24 and 25?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which one's? Well, that's, yeah. That's not that.
21, 22, 24, and 25.
Ready? Okay, I'll make a motion to recommend Article 21.
All right, we have a motion. Is there a second?
I will second.
All right, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Wait a second.
Take your time. It's a long.
Yeah. It's on page 26, Article 22, I'll make the motion that the Board of Selectmen recommend.
Okay, we have a motion. Is there a second?
I will second.
Any discussion?
Just, could I just get a real quick description of what the change generally means? And what it was?
What changed, you mean?
Yeah.
Is it Article 20, is that the moratorium?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the moratorium. Please vote. No, this one we just did
22.
This one is the moratorium. Blank is the moratorium, the planning board decided to put a moratorium on both solar fields and energy storage facilities. The state is coming out with new regulations regarding energy storage facilities, so they want to get an understanding of it. So that they're requesting a moratorium on it. The state has better regulations.
So the moratorium itself is the change?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
This is 21.
22.
All right, any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Article 24, I make the recommendation that the Board of Selectmen recommend. I make that motion that the Board of Selectmen recommend.
Okay, we have a motion. Is there a second? Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Article 25, I'll make a motion that the Board of Selectmen recommend.
All right, we have a motion. Is there a second?
A second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Article 26 is the home rule petition for the linkage fees. I know that the planning board was interested in it, and you had I don't know if we had the language for it.
Just 26.
Complete, yes.
And it was presented on April 26th.
Make a motion that the Board of Selectmen recommend Article 26.
Okay, we have a motion. Is there a second?
I will second.
Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Oh, did you have discussion?
I did, I just, again, I'm sorry, I would love just a very short explanation.
Sure, it's linkage fees, also what the town is looking to do is to see if they could, when there's a certain size development, that they would be able to create fees for to the developer to handle some whatever additional services may be the result of the development.
Okay, and I'm an aye, motion carries. What else we got?
To electrical and water and.
No, mostly like police, there needs to be an expansion of police servers, there needs to be an expansion of a classroom. It has to be specific to the development.
And that cost will be passed on to the developer.
Yes.
Any motions on Article 27?
I think we had already.
We just did it. Right?
Oh, Article
Oh,
27.
27. We did 26.
Yeah,
Right.
I think there was some date.
28 is also.
Oh, no, that's the town accept provisions authorize the annual increase of the amount of the exemption granted. That's the veterans one. Yeah, no, you guys didn't make a recommendation on that. I don't know if the
We weren't waiting for anything. I'll make a motion to accept Article 27, the Board of Selectmen recommend.
Okay, is there,
Sorry, I couldn't hear you.
I'll make a motion that the Board of Selectmen recommend Article 27.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Also.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Should be any of our recommendations. Anything else from the Finance Committee?
The only thing, just a couple of notes for, when I walked in, you were at the question to the school. Last year, the increase was 3.7%. And just as an overall statement, right now, we're looking at very rough because we're just going up some rough numbers for the total for this year. The overall town budget is up 2%, even 2%. Thanks. Other than that, I don't have anything. Does anybody else have anything?
I just have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
For the Articles 16 and 17, the two highway trucks, one of them is recommended, and I wasn't sure if the BOS was going to consider removing number 17 that is not recommended.
Good point. Thank you. That's a good idea for clarity, I believe.
Okay.
Thank you. We're getting great team.
I'll make a motion that we remove Article 20, is it 17? 17.
Okay, we have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, motion and second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you. And thank you to the Finance Committee for being with us again. We appreciate it.
We'll adjourn our meeting if you guys are all set with us.
I don't know if they have to close the line.
I will entertain that motion.
I would make a recommendation to close the current warrant.
Motion, is there a second?
I will second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Take a motion to adjourn.
Take a motion to adjourn Finance Committee.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Guys have it. We're done.
I'll entertain a motion for a 2-minute recess, if that's okay.
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
I will second.
All right, any further discussion? All in favor?
No, so I'm just asking.
Oh, you said that. Get it there. So I wish I had understood. I would take your cue.
Before you were here, I said I wouldn't go for
That's why I was so.
yeah, but I only want to send it.
Yeah, because it is cheap.
June 1st is town meeting.
So I didn't.
No, I just felt like, that I messed you up and because I understood your intent.
But you made the right move by saying withdraw.
We were already chatting about
So
Where's that?
I knew what you were trying to, Jake, just to make sure. Congrats. I knew what you were trying to, so I was like, okay.
this is kind of.
Like, we're gonna get the $3,500 regardless, it's just like nothing for a
Yeah.
vehicle, but
Oh, yeah.
great trading value on those cars.
Oh, yeah.
Jesus Christ. It's terrifying with the fire guy too. We're already going, gonna have to buy two, right? So it's just, are they both money? So can you give us?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whatever. Question. What's wrong with the Yeah.
It seemed like the general consensus was it's just not.
Right.
And that's right. Well, now that's why I was like, okay. Right. Right away. So I'd rather have something. I'd rather pay a little bit more. I'd rather have something a little bit more. Like,
feasibility. And then using the and getting some sort of remuneration, liability. So that's a good one. Okay. I just don't think they get that.
All right, is everyone ready? I think it's been a couple of minutes.
See you at the town meeting.
I'll entertain a motion to go back to regular session. Is there a second?
I was so.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. All right, so next on our agenda is we have Lero Hill Court for the fire station building presentation. Good evening. Hi.
Thanks for waiting, guys.
Sure.
I know it was tedious.
Sorry to
You
do that.
gotta get through that stuff.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Okay, so, evening, thank you. Lero Hill Court has, we've done a lot of studies, design and management of public safety facilities in cities and towns throughout Massachusetts. Our feasibility study, we follow 3 directives on them. We do deliberate analysis, conservative assumptions, and community fit. My name is John Zickwitz. I'm Vice President of Architecture at Lero Hill. With me tonight, Mark Anderson, he's the project manager and design lead. Ethan Zanelli is our project architect, and Nick Betts is our civil and site engineer. We're all available for questions. We've got a 20-minute presentation that'll take you through the analysis and how we put together the feasibility study. If there's questions during the presentation, feel free to ask. If you want to wait till the end, totally up to you. Let Mark take it from here.
Hello, thank you all again for having us tonight. So we get to the next slide here, and as John mentioned, please feel free to jump in at any time. So we'll figure out.
Just click on it.
Just roll down.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you. So at the heart of the study was really to take a deep look at the chief and his team's operations, how they're operating today against kind of a 75-year window, right? And begin to analyze the fire service delivery for Dayton that way. Ultimately, what the study concluded, and we're going to go through that process, what we looked at, how we looked at it, and our findings. But ultimately, a new purpose-built facility, like a 24/7 facility, seems to be the most fiscally responsible approach or path forward for Dayton at the end of the day. And we'll get into why that is as we move forward. So why are we here tonight? We're not looking for any sort of decision or whatnot. I'm not sure if you've had time to look at the actual study itself. If you haven't, highly recommend you do. There's a lot of more detailed information in the appendices, right? So we're going to give you a high-level snapshot of the takeaway right now. So yeah, we're really just wanting to show you the project and kind of what the chief and his team have been working with, and really what would be appropriate, from a modern day fire service delivery kind of well into the future. So a little bit about our process and the method of analysis. Is really boils down to these 4 steps right here. So we mobilized, looked at the existing Station 1 and Station 2 from an infrastructure site and building condition perspective. Nick is here and will be able to answer any questions around some of the existing sites, which have some interesting nuances around them. Then we spent a good deal of time really drilling into, accurately the baseline needs of the chief and his team from a programming perspective. And that allowed us to really find out, okay, where do we need to be? And it was really a conservative exercise, I will say. We came in with a more robust program, but the chief, rightly so, brought us down to, what was really the right size for Dayton that would still give you the flexibility and meet the needs of your community into the future. We also worked with Criterion Associates, who did some GSI response modeling. This was all based upon call data that the chief gave us. So real-time look at where, you know, most of the calls were coming from and where the best location for this 24/7 operation would be located within Titan. So we'll show you 4 snapshots of kind of a close area, and I'll explain how we analyze that. But again, in the appendice of the report, we looked at a lot of sites around town. So it's kind of interesting to see how we got there. And then lastly, you know, we actually did some really good, interesting design work at Station 2, as well as this new undeveloped site to be determined. So that was our approach. So I'm showing you this slide right here. This is a high-level snapshot of the program, you know, the resulting programming exercise we went through with the chief. So at the end of the day, we're looking at a program area of around 18,500 square feet. That's without circulation. So there's a little bit of an increase as a result of that. So we're just under 20,000 square feet, and we'll be showing you that plan in a minute. But that is based upon these categories that we see here, you know, the public interface, administrative, operation arm, apparatus bays and support spaces, sleeping quarters, right? Rest and wellness. Don't have any of that in either station today, and back house support functionality. So I just wanted to show you where we landed, and then we're going to move in to look at the 2 existing locations right now. So currently we're operating out of, Chief and his team are operating out of 2 stations. If you haven't been to either one, I highly encourage you to go down, meet the chief or one of his team members, and have them give you a tour of the facility. So they're both located here. So the one on the southeastern edge is Fire Station 1, 300 Main Street. Never constructed to be a full-time fire service or firehouse. Then at the northeastern node, we see Fire Station 2. The original the building on the left was the original horse and buggy fire service node at that point, which, you know, has a lot of value, I think, from a community perspective. And we actually played around with that a fair amount, as conceptually anyway, at a high level. It's part of the study. But so all in, between these 2 facilities, we're looking at 10,600 square feet. So that's what the chief is working out of across these 2 sites today against our 18,500. So we'll zoom into Station 1 location. Again, it's the southeastern edge here. You can see the lot area with the blue dashed line. A couple things about this site which made us pivot or move on relatively quickly because of some environmental considerations, and those are it's in a floodplain, and then it's bound by wetlands. There's also a hazardous site across the street. We don't have any tests, or no testing was available at the fire station location, but it's, you know, fairly likely that site might be continued to. Not absolutely certain about that. But for those first 2 reasons alone, I mean, the building itself is also deficient across the board in terms of code and what we would need today, both from an accessibility, architectural space needs approach, but also systems wise, you know, MEP systems, etc. Here's a quick peek inside. These pictures do not do the space justice, but there is lots of overlapping functions here. I think I mentioned there's no real sleeping area in here. So as you can see, there's Murphy beds in offices and sharing with the day room, which is also doubles as an office. There's gear storage and overlapping in places that are not really adequate. There's no proper decontamination flow through here. We have exercise equipment and storage rooms, as well as more sleeping quarters, etc. I'll also say that the apparatus storage bays here are undersized for the equipment that we have, and in fact, the chief cannot keep all of his equipment under roof between the two locations. Fire Station 2, again, up at the northeastern edge. This is the one that we did want to entertain. Just the value of that older building was really intriguing to us, and it's kind of a nice neighborhood here. So as you can see, there's a couple diagrams at the base of this image, which shows a couple of strategies that we were looking at. What we found, though, was we were limited from a lot size perspective here, right? So, you folks had added on that double bay, it's 10 years ago. But that's already compressed on size too. So in fact, you can't walk from side to side when the doors are closed, because there's just not enough room already within those facilities. So both of these schemes explored adding a third bay, outside or to the right of the two bay apparatus area here. That's the most we could get while trying to optimize the remainder of the program on this site. And what you don't see here is there's certainly not enough room for parking, right? So at that point in time, we were kind of directed to, okay, we've kind of beat this up pretty good, at least to see what would fit, what won't fit. And then we moved on to future site.
Just before you leave, I just want to point out that
yeah,
the diagrams kind of reflect the current needs, but it doesn't give you any room for any future expansion if you ever wanted to down the road.
Well, that's a great point, John. Thank you for bringing that up, because we do think about growth. We accommodate growth, right? But then what we lay out here, but then there's always we want to be sensitive economically as well, but leave the door open for expansion. So I'd say, so that's the lens through which we looked at this with as well. It's an important point. Thank you. Here's a quick peek at some of the existing conditions. Again, encourage everyone to stop by and say hi to the team down there, or up there in this case. You can see the structure on the older building is deteriorating in various places with exposed rebar. Again, not code compliant at all on the inside from a program and operational perspective. So yeah, I'm going to move on to the next piece. So here's a little snapshot of what we were looking at from a response time analysis. And again, this is built straight from call data. And we use some software that really looks at your street layout, densities, traffic lights, etc. So the first two scenarios look at a single station, single 24/7 station. The scenario 3 and 4 look at a hybrid model, which is most likely where we will end up anyway, but I will just add, so that has both north and southern existing stations, with that third piece being, the ideal location for a 24/7 station. So actually yes, sir.
Is it a third location plus the other two, or just a new location in eliminating stations 1 and 2?
So I think there's still value in 1 and 2, and they could be used as substations, like on-call stations, which is, they're much more appropriate for that because they don't have the appropriate accommodations. Right. So yeah, this study is really looking at that new 24/7 station that does allow them to operate effectively. But I will point out station 2 from a location perspective is really the ideal location. And you can see, So the green shading is indicative of a 4-minute response time window, right? So it's a little misleading in that you have 3 stations here. You're actually getting more response out of 1 station located here within that 4-minute window, and that's because of the location with your street layout, all things considered, right? Over here is a little bit more remote, so you're really not gaining a whole lot. So at the time of the study, we did look at all of your town-owned assets and the availability of where could we put this that's kind of close to scenario 2, right? So at that time, we couldn't find the right size parcel to make that happen for the study. So we chose a test site for the study so we could move it along, at least understand the, the money behind the building itself. And we captured kind of a worst case scenario with the site, with this test fit site. So as a team, we actually selected one kind of close to scenario 3, and I'll show you that in just a second. Go the right way. 1850 Maple was our test site. What made this a good candidate?
I'm sorry, Ralph, I got a text. Someone's trying to get on Zoom and I guess they need to be let in.
Okay.
My apologies.
This isn't the escape.
I'll just go back over the That's okay. That's okay.
Oh, maybe that X.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. The Alt tab.
Ah. Yeah, so a couple of things about the site that made it a good candidate, to try to capture the value anyway. It's an undeveloped site. It has no utilities. Actually has a wetlands, but what's the word?
Potential perennial stream.
Perennial stream. You can see the red line coming down around here, and that is a wetland buffer line. So we were very sensitive to that. So yeah, anyways, interesting that those were some of the pieces that the site offers from early high-level analytical perspective and as a placeholder, if you will. And what we're really interested in with a site like this as well is the road frontage. And we're going to zoom into the site and show you how that lays out, because this really is all about access and response. Okay, so with that, I'm going to hand it over to Ethan, and he will walk us through. You got it.
Thank you, Mark. So as Mark was just showing before, the test that we used, Maple 1850, is roughly a 15-acre site that the town of Dayton owns right now. What we're seeing here is roughly only 2 to 3 acres needed to create this new facility. And working on with the chief and his staff, we kind of wanted to develop the most optimized new 24/7 response space we could in this scenario. And so you can see here on the left-hand side, we sort of separate the apparatus space where all the trucks would be housed in these double deep drive-through bays, which is sort of the trend we're seeing right now in public safety world for faster response times and shorter resetting of operations. And on the right-hand side, see the employee parking area and the public parking, which is just in front of the main entrance. There's also a separate employee entrance directly off the employee parking lot. And one thing to note as well, and we'll talk about that in a second, is the opportunity for growth. Should Town need an extra bay, there is space to the left of this concept to add additional bay without, major impact to the existing.
Is this proposed lot, is this an existing, is this an area that is a potential spot for this, or is this just, I know you'd use the term test area. Is it like hypothetical or is it potential?
Yeah. So it's, if we looked at those 4 scenarios, it's not in the ideal optimal location in the town for response time, but fairly close.
So yes,
sounds like somebody needs to mute.
I think someone just did it. Sorry.
Yeah, it is we use it as a test site. I think there's further investigation that should be done, within the town, and, we can certainly assist with that. Time comes, but yeah, I think we want to be, ideally, you want to be over by that eastern edge for the most optimal response times. And, right.
But this is currently owned by the town, so we just went ahead with this to show potential scenarios should you want to develop this.
And I will add, if I may, Ethan, that a lot of what Ethan is walking through right now in terms of some of the design thinking is easily transferable, and that's why I mentioned the road frontage is really one of the more important things, as well as the site depth.
Right.
Is there an actual address for this?
Yeah. 1850 Maple Street.
1850?
Maple Street. So yeah, just to reiterate, this is a roughly 2 to 3 acre site, which would be needed to develop this, which could be anywhere, but this is the current thing you're looking at with this current location. And so this is a rough rendering of what this station could look like. It's not final. This is just a quick study we did. There's some other iterations you can see in the full study report and the appendix. But overall, what we're looking at is trying to develop a building that sort of respected the architecture and the typical colonial salt shed houses you see in the neighborhood, and not feel so imposing. So you sort of hid the second story of this building and a dormer design for the sleeping quarters in the gabled roof, so that way sort of minimize the height of the building to what it actually is. So looking here is just sort of overall layout of both floors here. Again, on the left-hand side of the first floor is the apparatus and support spaces. In the center is the lobby and public zones and training area. And on the right-hand side is the office spaces. On the second floor are the personal quarters, which have 2 egress stairs that can access the apparatus space from both sides. So looking a little closer at the first floor of this design, one of the components that Mark mentioned too is in the apparatus design, we want to separate the hot zones and the cold zones. Hot zones being areas for decontamination after response to remove any materials off of the equipment. And so we allowed for that to be on the furthest edge of the building, so that way in the future, should you want to add additional bay, that would also allow the units to add their put their equipment in there for decontamination. And then on the right hand side of the apparatus bay is all the cold storage spaces and EMS support rooms with the medical center directly off the lobby space. In the center is the training room area, roughly 1,500 square feet, which can be used for training and also for public meeting space, and would be used as the town's emergency operations center in case of emergency. And then again on the right hand side are just the offices and chief spaces for admin use.
If you go back for a second, Ethan, I just want to point out that there is 2 separate entrances for public from the front and staff from the side. So if someone's coming in the front door, there's doors to the left and right that are all secured, so they can't get into the apparatus bay or into the offices. There's some security in there as well. So that.
Good job.
Are 4 bathrooms necessary?
I'm sorry?
I'm sorry.
Are 4 bathrooms necessary?
So we're showing 2 that would be used for the public. One is in the office space, which is again, John was just pointing out, is a vacated space for the admin space that public is not allowed into. And then there's a 4th one that is used in the apparatus space, so you're not spreading contamination between the spaces. Again, this is a feasibility study, so this is
Right.
not
Yeah,
final
yeah,
design,
yeah,
but this is just,
yeah.
showing sort of, optimized design, for benefit for the chief and his team, as well as the public. On the second floor is the personal space for the sleeping quarters. In this design, we have 6 rooms and 1 office room, which could be used as double rooms, double bunks, and to allow for future growth. And again, they're aligned along the southern edge of this building, so that way there's easy access to both stairs for quick response times. And on the north end side, there are the day room, kitchen spaces, and the exercise room. We also showed an opportunity to add an outdoor space that connects all those communal areas. And then also in this design with the large gabled roof, we're able to hide the height of that building. We're also able to use it as a penthouse shield to hide any mechanical equipment on the second floor. So you can see in this rendering, the mechanical space would be over here on the where the emblem is on the right hand side of the building. So this is just a quick snapshot looking at a few towns in Massachusetts that are of similar size that have recently built fire departments. And you can see we had a cost estimate done. The rough total cost was about $27.7 million, which is right in between sort of other towns you see here. And again, I think one thing to note, the top one dates back from 2021, and obviously, as we're all aware, prices have really escalated since then. And with that, I will back to Mark, so we can go through a little more detail on the topic.
Great, thanks, Ethan. Yeah, I think the other slide also kind of just, it's a good check too, in terms of where we ended with square footages and relationship to communities, kind of similar to yours I've been looking at and we're doing. So yeah, Ethan just kind of shared where this project came in as a total project. If we back up, it's a little over 20 million for the direct construction costs. And then soft costs, which include design fees. So taking it from, this high level study through a design process, OPMs, all of those things. If there's any movement of items that would be captured in the middle number as well. Those all gets layered together, and we're looking at about 27 today. The good news is, we're not looking to, we're here to present the project, make everybody understand it, how it came to be in terms of what Chief and his team are working with today, and give a realistic kind of perspective of what an appropriate station like this would be. So next steps. More investigation on that optimized kind of town-owned site, whether you already own it or there's an acquisition of some sort or whatnot. In parallel to that is the funding question. That's probably going to come through a few different pathways. We do have a consultant that we work with and specializes in that as well. And then of course design. Right, it's going to go through an actual design process that will make it buildable essentially, and a biddable package, and then to construction. So this isn't a project that's going to happen next year or the year after that, right? It's going to take a little time to get to where we need to be, but it's a good place to start, is to understand, kind of the task ahead, or the need, I should say. Yeah, so that's really it. Happy to take any questions we have.
Sure. How did you determine the 75 life years of the life expectancy of this?
Material selections that we're looking at, the envelope, the systems, etc. So we like to look, there's a range, right, depending. So, but that's really where we want to be, is We don't want you, so it's not a insignificant amount of money, so, yeah,
And I know it's too early, but funding sources are sometimes tied in with how long a building is supposed to be built out for.
Exactly.
And is that part of your study, as far as that 75 years, or is it just too early for that?
So we haven't dug into ourselves
Yeah.
the different funding mechanisms, and I think that's becomes a bit of a deeper conversation with
Right.
probably the
Yeah.
folks that
Sure.
just left. But yeah, we do life cycle cost analysis, and right, that's really what it comes down to. You have the immediate upfront construction costs, but then the operational costs, right? And that is something that we do consider even at this high level. From a systems approach, this was, if you read through the report, it is set up to be an all-electric facility.
Yep.
So
I saw the solar panels.
Yep, and you can offset some of that load, right? Through that, it will be explored more.
Sure.
I'll say that, right? Depending upon the ultimate end all site. But yeah, all of those things are considered, to your point, and
You know what the square footage cost was for the before the soft cost?
yeah, it's 850, right, which is the temperature of the market.
Yeah.
But what we're seeing is the exterior climate, I guess, or societal climate, with lots of shifting fundings here and there, taking away of fundings in different areas, has actually made the public safety market more competitive.
Yep.
Certainly on the construction end, and
Okay.
that's what we're seeing out there today.
Sure.
Which is a positive, right? In this case.
Again, thank you for waiting. I know, like I said, it was tedious out here. But unfortunately, we had to do what we had to do.
Yeah.
But great presentation. Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't have anything else at this time.
No, I think it certainly, for me at least, it gives me some good awareness of where we stand right now with the facilities and the I'd say somewhat urgent need, I guess.
Yeah, right, and I think you guys mentioned it earlier, prices are not going down. Vehicles or buildings.
You mentioned that there's someone on your team that looks at funding sources, and
yes,
does that include looking at grants and things of that nature? We here in the town, we don't have a full-time grant writer. Our town administrator looks at grants. There's other, I'm sure the fire department is looking at grants, but that's something that I would be very interested in to hear how that works.
Okay.
Because Ralph and I just had a conversation today on meeting with our legislators and having them come around town again and showing them our fire station and other parts of town and continuing their buy-in, but having someone such as yourself and your team that share some expertise that we might not have would be huge.
Yeah, absolutely.
So do you guys do proposals for that? Is that how that works?
Yes.
Okay.
If I may, one of the last meetings we had, we brought that up, and Mark, there's some, we met with the library team. They brought someone who they work with, who deals with federal grants for rural fire department. So it's kind of funny. I had seen these grants pop up like 2 days earlier, and they have someone associated with it. So as we move through the process, that's someone they could
absolutely
connect us with. Yeah.
So as we move through, what is the next step of the process? Would it be that?
Well, the next step of the process is like what is the will of the selectmen and the community to move this project forward. I think they laid out the steps. If this is something that we want to do, it's good. We need to identify the site. Is this program we like? Do we move forward with it? Do we look for a site? We have limited sites that the town owns. And then we have to make the decision, is do we want to use a town-owned site, or do we want to purchase a site? Once we figure that part out, then we go on to the funding side.
Okay.
For the most part, funding will be, we'll look at grant opportunities. It'll probably be a mix of grant opportunities and a debt exclusion, and then design construction.
Thank you.
So if I could just add, like, when we went through the process, the EOC was added in there intentionally because there is grant opportunities for buildings that incorporate an EOC into the structure. That's why the training space, public meeting space was also dubbed as a EOC area. So that way, that kind of a grant opportunity could be looked at if it's available at that time. The other thing I'd like to say, just in the site selection, you gentlemen are very familiar with the town, obviously, and the geographics of it. Our current fire stations, as you're aware, are on the eastern border of this town. So when we have to service the west end of town, and our ambulance is only serviced out of the southeast corner, when we're going to the northwest corner of Dayton up to Chestnut Street, North Street, Maynard Lane, it's a considerable response time for an ambulance to get there, for somebody who's having a heart attack, fell down the stairs, whatever it might be. So we really need to have our ambulance in a better geographic center location in the town to better service our community.
From William Street, how far down is 1850? On Maple Street,
It's about halfway down Maple Street.
Halfway down.
Approximately, right? Yes. Halfway between Williams and Oak, approximately.
Okay.
Is that the property that we currently have some highway department storage?
Yeah,
on?
It's roughly this location.
That's the one with the shade. That's, the highway has some.
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah. So the only pieces that we explored in the study were town-owned parcels. And there's very few. There's one that we looked at on Center Street. Obviously, there's the old Briggs, which isn't a big enough lot. We looked at here at Town Hall. We looked at 1850. There's a couple of town-owned parcels on Tremont Street. But again, we're shifting to one end of the town again, so that we were kind of lopsided again. And that's why we ended up just going with the 1850 Maple Street site, just as the worst case scenario in the exploration of the civil or side of things, to say that this has wetlands, it has all the worst stuff that we could possibly come across if we chose a site.
In your experience, I guess I'm not sure the best person to ask is, do you have to pick a site before you start looking at grant funding and opportunities? Because I feel like if you know the funding available, that might influence the site and how much you might pay to acquire a site or keep a site that might not be optimal, but depending on the funds available, we might, use the 1850 Maple versus if we had lots of grant funds available, we might acquire a site. Is that something that we can kind of look at?
we can. I think it
concurrently?
depends on the grant, right? It's like that. Right, so there are and this is not for fire service, but like say Mass Works has certain grants for land acquisition, so we would have to look, are there land acquisition grants available for fire service, for public safety? There are grants, again, as I said, in rural community fire building, there are grants for that, so we haven't taken a deep enough look at it. We just sort of went through this process first.
Okay, thank you. Any other discussion?
No, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
So just to wrap up this discussion, I think it would be nice if we could get on a future agenda to have that discussion on funding and properties. Okay. Next, we have on the agenda public input. Is there anyone here for public input? Pat?
Hi.
That's patience.
I have something fun, that's tedious.
Thank you.
So I'm the chairperson, as you know, of the 250th anniversary committee. So this weekend, we are having a play from the Dayton History Players. They're middle school kids. Dayton 1776, A Vote for Independence. And Zach Karen is the scriptwriter, adapter, producer, director. And so it's a retelling of the May 20th, 1776 meeting when Dayton voted for independence. We have two shows, but the 2 o'clock show is already sold out. Free tickets and it's sold out. So we do still have some openings at the 6 o'clock show, so I came to invite you to join us. It'll be fun. It's a lot of fun. Also, coming up, we have a couple of things coming up. We'll be at the Cow Chip Festival. We'll have a table there. We'll have a table at the Strawberry Festival. In June, the library is hosting programs. June 9th, they have greetings from Breed Hill. And then July, they have all hands Yankee whaling, the US Navy and the Treasury Department. June 13th is the Strawberry Festival from the Historical Society. And also the Historical Society is having a historic house and garden tour on June 27th, and tickets are $25 for that, and that goes to the society. Of course, on August 18th, we're having the reading of the Declaration of Independence at the community church with the cemetery walk highlighting 10 to 12 of the Revolutionary War soldiers that are buried there. Last year, we did 13 soldiers that are buried there. I think there's about 36 in that cemetery. And then, of course, in September 26th and 27th is our great big reenactment and encampment at Woods Farm right here on 138. We'll also be at the Lions Arts Festival, and we'll be at the dedication of our Revolutionary War Veterans Memorial Podium. So those are fun things that you can look forward to. So I just wanted to invite you, especially to the play.
Can you give me the details on that again? You said 6
The play, 6 o'clock here.
on Saturday?
Yeah, on Saturday. You can register through Eventbrite. That's how we've been counting seats. Always have kids involved. You know? It actually touches a whole group of people that might not reach out, or come to something, parents and kids. So, yeah, should be fun. It is fun. The kids are awesome. Awesome.
Cool.
So look for something fun to do besides money.
Thank you for you and your committee's hard work honoring our 250.
Oh, thank
That's
you.
amazing.
Thank you. It's been
Yes.
fun. Our meetings are much more fun. You can come to our meetings if you wanted.
Sounds great. Very nice. Any other public input, Mr. Ferry?
I don't know if I'm as fun. It's that time of year. As you know, one of our biggest events for the Dayton Lions is coming up really quick. Our Lions Club has been very involved in our own community, it always has been. We branched out a little bit over the winter. We're exploring a feasibility study for this whole complex, starting off with the bleachers. Over the winter also, we joined this whole district for mental illness for the youth in that hospital down in Plymouth. We're doubling the size of the capacity there. That's very important because everyone has someone in their hand struggles with that, I'm sure. Anyways, historically, I don't know if you've been coached, but usually right after the election, we seek the newly elected selectmen to help judge on the Cow Chip Festival if you're available. You don't have to answer today, but if you can get back to me, I don't have your contact.
Judging what exactly? What is the
kind of like you did already tonight? You gotta. Thank you.
Sure.
So it's the Cow Chip actually event.
Cow Chip.
Cow Chip.
Cow Chip. Cow Chip. Okay.
That actually happens Saturday afternoon.
Okay.
Yep. that it's a 3-day festival, and that's one of our largest fundraisers for the year.
Okay.
We are doing an arts festival here later this year. That one's getting a lot of momentum too, but right now the cow tip is the largest event. The stage is quite full already too. And we get the School of Rock Band Friday night. The Chitons, they're at 2 o'clock. The Goat Ropers, not sure what that is. Country band. No, great band. I hope so. And we also have the chicken barbecue later that Saturday afternoon. Tickets, you need tickets for the chicken barbecue for Saturday afternoon. The tickets, I have them, and they're also on sale to the general public at the Under the Sun. So that's what I have to share tonight. So.
Do you have any extras of those? Is that a flyer?
Yes.
Oh, the Arts Festival town was gonna be here.
Yes.
And I know we took a break last year for reasons, but all the way from the parking lot down is what you were thinking again?
We'll be utilizing the whole complex.
Yeah. Oh, across the street as well?
Yes.
Or not across the street, but.
Yes, when we needed to take a break, we were flirting around with 100 vendors.
Right.
Yeah, we didn't have room at the current, previous location.
Yeah.
So obviously we have room here. We are gonna start here, like you're saying, work our way that way. We'll probably move the band this way. That's not all set in stage stone yet, because we gotta assess electric availability and stuff like that.
Okay.
And there may be staging food trucks also to help draw the crowd also.
Yeah. The podium, when is that coming in for the veterans? I know it's kind of not your subject right now, but.
It's in.
It's in.
I incarcerated it at the Highway Garage.
Okay.
It's in a safe location where it's not gonna get bumped. After Memorial Day, sometime during the summer, we'll mount the foundation.
Yep.
So that way there, when we get close to Veterans Day for the unveiling, we can just set the podium on the foundation.
Okay, good. And how much were the tickets for the barbecue?
Oh, they're 18.
You need somebody to judge that as well? I'd be happy to.
Test the menu.
If there's any other questions, if not,
no, I'm all set.
Thank you for your hard work and for doing this year after year. Makes that unique, the couch, for sure, you know, puts us on the map.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Anyone on Zoom for public input? Alrighty, Selectmen's report, any reports? No?
I would simply say that I did tender my resignation to the Open Space Committee, but I did express my interest to them for being a liaison, and they would certainly accept that and appreciate it.
Okay, awesome. So hopefully we get that on a future agenda.
Yeah.
Yes, great. All right, I don't have one. Town administrators report.
The only thing is on June 3rd, Wednesday, June 3rd, we're going to have the joint meeting with the Berkeley Selectmen to discuss the intermunicipal agreements for the animal control officer and for the health agent. So I just want to make you guys aware of that. 6 p.m. I'll be sending you obviously updates. 6 p.m. and we're going to have it on neutral ground. We're going to have it at Bristol Aggie. So
cool.
That's it. That's all I have for now.
Thank you. So next we have review, discuss, and act, approve and sign the annual town meeting warrants. Any motions to that effect?
I'll make that motion.
All right, we have a motion. Is there a second?
I will second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. We have a facilities request for the Board of Health Farmers Market. Ralph, any update on that?
They have their paperwork in place. They have I think I spoke with Liz. They have about right now 12 vendors for the first one. So it will be on a Sunday, late morning, early afternoon.
I noticed Liz has her information as contact. Is she running it?
The health department is, yeah,
Okay.
that's right, the initial point, yes.
Is there a date for them?
Yeah, there were dates. 5/17
5/17
starts,
is the first
6/21 it goes on.
10 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Oh, okay. Just looking at the door.
I make a motion to approve the request for the farmer's market.
All right, we have a motion. Is there a second?
Absolutely, I saw.
All right, motion and second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. The ratification of the clerical contracts, we will table to a future meeting if there's any motions to do so.
I'll make a motion to the table.
All right, we have a motion. Is there a second? Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. And approval of the warrants.
Okay, we have three dates to approve. Warrants paid by April 30th, 2026. 44A-26 for $126,680.51. 44B-26, $106,504.49. 44C-26, $4,562.77. Warrants paid by May 7th, 2026. 44A-26, $130,335.01. 45B-26, $718,699.70. and 45C-26, $167,152.74. And last but not least, warrants for May 14th, 46A-26, $144,738.85. 46B-26, $139,708.12. and 46C-26, $3,350,477.50.
Okay, we have a motion. Is there a second?
I will second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Next, we have some correspondence. One from Paul Reynolds. He is resigning from the Conservation Commission. I'm not gonna read it, but I would say thank you to Paul for his hard work and on the Conservation Commission. And we also have a resignation from Laura Armstrong for the Elderly and Disabled Tax Funds.
She's resigning from it.
Yes. Thank you to Laura for your hard work on that committee.
It's been too many resignations lately.
It has. Our town officials are certainly spread thin with all the different boards and committees that they're on. Is there any other public input tonight? And is there any motions to adjourn?
Make that motion.
All right, is there a second?
I will second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Good night.